So a kind of sad day came. Well, sad and not sad at the same time, I guess. It was the final car wash for the JT Gladiator. Alright, so I just filled up the JT again and hand calculated. This matched perfectly this time. It's kind of weird because sometimes the dash is 3 or 4/10 optimistic, but this time my hand calculation matched perfectly. So 16.2, running winterized fuel on 35-inch mud tires. Nothing like going through the automatic car wash in a Jeep. But you know, these things actually do really well. No problems. Now it does get noisy, but really noisy, especially with that Sun Rider on there. But like I said, no leaks, so that's a good thing. And in the winter time here in Kentucky, sometimes you just don't really feel like getting outside in the 32-degree air and using a water hose at home, you know, so you got to do what you got to do. So the rebates and the discounts on these Ram trucks are always insane, but I've never seen them as crazy as they have been this month in February 2020. I mean, the local dealerships have been advertising over $16,000 off the sticker price on just about any of these Ram trucks like you see behind me here. So, man, I was over there at the dealership. They had a truck over there that was spec'd out. If I was gonna order a Ram, was spec'd out exactly the way I would put it together. Here is some footage that I shot from that day. So this was a cold start. You can see it's 32 degrees outside, so all I did was hop in and start the truck, and it automatically went to a high idle. See that? So that's pretty awesome. It also automatically turned on the heated seat and steering wheel, but I guess you could change that in the settings if you wanted to. But anyhow, I just thought it was interesting that I don't know if the previous generation of these engines did this or not, but the 3rd gen definitely does. If it senses that it's cold outside, it will automatically go to a high idle when you start it up, which is, again, pretty cool. But the other thing is, listen to how quiet that is. I mean, I can just barely hear it. Now, obviously, on the outside, you've got that typical diesel clatter, which I personally love. Some people don't like it. I love it. I wish it had more of it, honestly. But on the inside of the truck, it is super quiet in here. I mean, they've got it really well insulated inside this truck. And this interior is just fantastic. Definitely the nicest full-size truck interior you can get, hands down. Very, very nice. The features list on this truck, and this is just a Bighorn model. This is not even the top of the line model, but it has the level 2 package, and the list of features on this thing is too long to even go through. It's crazy. Really, really cool. I like this. I'm guessing there's the oil filter. So that's pretty easy to get to. So here we are out on the open road. I have the cruise control set to 55, and this thing is so quiet that you literally can't even tell it has a diesel engine in it. Now when you take off from a red light, as you're cycling through those lower gears, you can hear the diesel clatter. But once you get up to cruising speed, set your cruise control, I mean, it is just as quiet as a living room in here. It's amazing. See, you can barely even hear any wind noise. You can't really hear the engine at all. You can barely hear any wind noise. Just a very, very nice cabin. It's a very comfortable, very nice place to spend time. And I've been on a little bit of a loop between city and highway driving, and so far it's showing me 25.5 miles per gallon. So that's a little bit better than the window sticker indicated. Pretty nice truck. So this particular truck has a payload of 1,645 pounds, which is a little bit more than my max tow Gladiator. And it's got a towing capacity of about 10,000 pounds, which is quite a bit more than the Gladiator. So I wouldn't lose any capacity. If anything, I'm going to gain some capacity to do work with this truck. And even though diesel fuel is 40 cents per gallon higher than gasoline around here, at that kind of mileage, I'm still going to be saving money on fuel. I also called my insurance agent. Interestingly enough, the insurance would be much less on this than the Gladiator. I'd be looking at, you know, in my personal situation, saving about $400 a year on insurance. So there's quite a bit of savings to be had with this truck. Plus, it's just a bigger, roomier, more spacious vehicle. So I don't know, it's extremely tempting. I love my Jeep, love the Gladiator, love what they did with the Gladiator. I think it's awesome, and I would have no problem driving that thing for a few more years until my lease is up. But this truck right here is just very tempting. It's a very, very nice truck, and the discounts and rebates on these things right now are insane. So it's gonna be really hard to pass up. So I guess I'm gonna head back to the dealership now and kind of work up some numbers and see if we can get to a deal that I'm happy with, see how it goes. But it sounds like that we're in the right ballpark already because of all the discounts. Again, the discounts and rebates on these trucks are insane right now. It's hard to pass these deals up on such nice trucks. So we'll see. Gonna go back here and talk to him and see what happens. So I should be back here in just a little while. So like I was saying, it's kind of a sad day because from day one, I've been the biggest proponent of the Jeep Gladiator. Even when all the people on the web are talking crap about it, I've really stood up for that truck because I love that truck. I love what Jeep did with the Gladiator. I love it. It's just awesome. But some things transpired and I just decided it was time to move on. My family of 5 was a little bit cramped inside the Jeep, even though we did make it work and we loved it. It's a little bit tight in there for us. And again, the rebates and discounts on these Rams were insane. So I was able to put together a deal with them. And the cool thing about it for me, guys, is that my insurance went down $550 a year. I mean, you just don't realize how expensive those Jeep Gladiators are to insure until you go down and talk to your agent. So I cut my insurance costs in half. Well, not in half, but you know, on my particular vehicle, almost in half. And my fuel costs, because this one is an EcoDiesel, so my fuel costs are going to go way down. Even though diesel fuel is 40 cents a gallon higher, I've been running the numbers from you know, what I was getting with the Jeep, and then what the window sticker shows on this truck and what everybody claims they're getting out of these trucks. And after I ran the numbers several times, I decided that I could probably save quite a bit of money on fuel after all. So there it is, guys. I ended up making a deal on this EcoDiesel. And the truth is that after I bought that Wildcat XX, the Gladiator wasn't going to be a trail machine for me anyway. So this will be great for the family. It'll sip fuel. It'll pull the trailer even better than the Gladiator did. And I look forward to making some really cool videos about this new Generation 3 EcoDiesel. So stay tuned if you're interested. The cool thing about this though is that the powertrain in this, the engine and the transmission, it's the same powertrain that you can get in the Wrangler JL and soon to be in the Gladiator JT. So the powertrain stuff is still going to be very much applicable to the Jeep vehicles as well as the Ram. So it'll be some cool stuff, guys. And I can't wait to show you what this EcoDiesel can do in the real world, hauling and towing and commuting and family trips and all that. We're going to do some cool videos with this truck. So just wanted to show it to you. It's filthy right now. They had it all cleaned up for me at the dealership. And as soon as we left, it started snowing real hard last night. So naturally, as soon as it starts snowing, we start putting salt and all kinds of crap all over the roads. And the truck ends up getting filthy. But anyhow, there's a cool little intro to this new truck you're going to see on the channel. And I just appreciate all the comments that you guys have left me regarding the Jeep. You know, honestly, guys, a lot of people have said some really nice things to me about the videos that I made for the Gladiator. I tried to just do some practical stuff, you know, some how-to kind of things and some simple product reviews. My channel's not sponsored by any companies. I buy everything out of my own pocket, you know, so I was just kind of trying to do some practical stuff that, you know, might help out somebody who has one of those vehicles or who's shopping for one of them. And some of you guys reached out to me and told me that you appreciate the videos, and I'm really thankful for that. So I just wanted to say thanks to everybody who's watched the videos regarding the Wrangler JL and then the Gladiator last year. Really appreciate it. And you know, just because it's gone, if you got some questions, you can still ask me, and I can try to help you out with some things if you're still shopping for one of those. You know, just because I don't have one in the driveway right now, that doesn't mean that I'm just completely forgetting about it. So anyhow, I just wanted to say thanks again for the support and the kind words. It does mean a lot to me. I appreciate it. You know, the internet can be kind of a rough world out there. So when you have people that reach out and say, hey, I appreciate that video you did, you know, it makes it worthwhile. So thanks, guys. And for now, I'm going to clean this up a little bit and head back in because it's freezing cold out here. But stay tuned. You're going to see more EcoDiesel content coming up. Thanks. So we finally got around to doing a little bit of work on the Wildcat here. The only thing that I didn't like about this machine was the seats. The 2018 model seats were terrible. So I found a guy on the Facebook group who very kindly sold me his 2019 seats. And he said they just used them a couple of times. So they're a little dirty. I just need to clean them up. But I was able to get those installed in here today. My dad helped me do a little bit of fab work on this one on the driver's side, but we were able to reuse all the slider mechanism and everything, so it worked out pretty good. And these seats from the 2019 models are way more comfortable. They don't have that really weird hump right there, and they just sit so much nicer. Way more comfortable. So the wife is really going to be happy with that, and I'm pretty happy to get this done too, because like I said, that was the only thing that didn't that made this machine not enjoyable, and now I don't have to worry about that anymore. So there you go. Saved a lot of money by getting a leftover 18 and still was able to get the 2019 seats in there that I wanted, because that's really the only difference on the 2019 that I cared about anyway. So otherwise, got the oil changed. I don't know if I showed you guys, but when I pulled the oil filter off this thing, it had a lot of what appeared to be assembly lube in the oil filter housing, you know, where the oil filter screws onto the housing there. So if you get one of these things, I recommend immediately take the oil filter off and check. And if you got that goop and gunk in there, clean that all out, replace the oil filter. This one just had 2 miles on the odometer when I brought it home. It had 10 miles on the odometer when I changed the oil, and it was all gunked up. And you know, like I said, it was completely clogged with what appeared to be assembly lube, which obviously is not good. So make sure you do that. Get your oil and filter changed immediately. Other than that, you know, I added a little receiver hitch back here. Found this on Amazon. It just bolts right on. Gives you a place to put a tow hook or even a small you know, ball mount to pull a small utility trailer around with. But these things, you know, didn't come with any recovery points on them, which is really odd for an off-road machine. So that's one of the first things I did also, was add a recovery point. I'm thinking about putting a bumper on here, and from what I've read, this will still work even with a bumper. So that's on down the road. Maybe the next thing we'll do is get a roof for it, or a windshield, or both. And I still need to get a front bumper also, because it needs a little bit of protection on the front. You know, I don't like how it's just bare plastic up there. We do, you know, kind of bash around in the woods a little bit, so it'll be nice to have some protection up front. So anyhow, we're doing a little bit of work on it, you know, trying to get a lot of this stuff done this winter while it's cold out, so that way when April rolls around and the weather gets nice, we don't have to fool around with this stuff. We can just load up and go ride. That's the plan anyway. So all right guys, let's see what else we can get into. Oh, and one other thing we did add was those mirrors. Now the one that I put, the rear view mirror that I put inside, I like it. It worked out really good. It just clamps onto the roll bar there and it works out great. But these right here I'm not happy with. These were listed as working for the Wildcat XX, but I find that they don't really work. They don't have enough range of motion to see the field of view that you really want to see. So I'm not real happy with those. Plus they're just kind of ugly. So these will eventually go away when I find something better. But for now, I just needed some kind of mirror over there so that I can kind of see what's going on.